Hello, my name is Dheyananda Alfadilah. I'm from PBI B, and this time I will read a text about workaholism. A. Most workers spend 8 or 9 hours on the job. They work because it's unavoidable. They need to make enough money for necessities food, rent, clothing, transportation, tuition, and so on. They spend about one third of their lives at work, but they had it. They complain and count the minutes until quitting time each day, or the days until their next vacation. B. By contrast, there are some people who actually enjoy work. In fact, they love to work. They spend many extra hours on the job each week and often take work home with them. These workaholics are as addicted to their jobs as other people are to drugs or alcohol. C. In some urban centers, workaholism is so common that people do not consider it unusual. They accept their lifestyle as normal. Government workers in Washington, D.C., for example, frequently work 60 to 70 hours a week. They don't do this because they have to, they do it because they want to. Hundreds of workaholics in New York City tried to go to work even in the famous blackout of 1977. There was no electricity, no air conditioning, elevators, or lights, but many people went to their offices anyway. They sat impatiently on the step outside their office buildings and did paperwork or had business meetings. D. Workaholism can be a serious problem because true workaholics would rather work than do anything else. They probably don't know how to relax. That is, they might not enjoy movies, sports, or other type of entertainment. Most of all, they have to sit and do nothing. This inability to rest may cause health problems, such as heart attack. In addition, typical workaholics don't pay much attention to their families. They spend little time with their children and their marriages may end in divorce. E. Is workaholism always dangerous? Perhaps not. Some studies show that many workaholics have great energy and interest in life. They work, their work is so pleasurable that they are actually very happy. For most workaholics, work and entertainment are the same thing. Their jobs provide them with a challenge. This keeps them busy and creative. Other people retire from work at age 65, but workaholics usually prefer not to quit. They are still enthusiastic about work and life in their 80s and 90s. F. Why do workaholics enjoy their jobs so much? There are several advantages to work. Of course, it provides people with paycheck, and this is important. But it offers but it offers more than financial security. It provides people with self-confidence. They have a feeling of satisfaction when they produce a challenging piece of work and are able to say, I made that. Psychologists claim that work gives people an identity through participation in work. They get a sense of self and individualism. In addition, most jobs provide people with a socially acceptable way to. Okay, based on what I have read previously, I will connect it with three sources of facts or events that relate to workaholism. The source I used to include the Quran, Hadith, and a journal article. First, the source from the Quran. If we look at the verses of the Quran that emphasize faith in Allah, it is always followed by good works with a high work ethic, a plan that has been prepared and leads to professionalism. As mentioned in Quran Surah Al-Jasiyah, verse 30, which means, as for those who believe and do good works, then their Lord includes them in His mercy. That is a real victory. The Quran mentioned that people who believe and work well and professionally will gain happiness in this world and the hereafter. Second, the search of the hadiths. There are also many hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad SAW that direct humanity to have a high work ethic and lead to professionalism in accordance with the direction and guidance of the Quran, such as an, As- an Aisyah radhiyallahu an qalat qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam innallaha ta'ala yuhibbu idza amila ahadukum amila an yutkina. Aisyah radhiyallahu anha reported that the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Verily Allah loves a person who when he works does it professionally." Hadis riwayat Tabrani number 891 and Baihaqi number 334. And the third, I quote from Themistocles' article on Tawhid as a family principle of moral education, mentioning the role of the family, especially the parents, in providing attention and guidance for the development of children as a whole, both in both in physical and spiritual aspect. And the key to all these efforts is the establishment of intensive communication between parents and children. This communication is sometimes ignored by parents because they are busy with worldly problems in order to fulfill physical and intellectual needs. Not to mention the workaholic phenomenon among parents, which not only affects fathers but even housewives, with the reason of gender equality or the right to carry outside the home. It results in the neglect of the duties and obligations of parents as educators for their children, with a work routine that is quite draining and can make them far from their children. With a work routine that is quite draining and can make them far from their children, this condition causes children to seek attention to other people carelessly. This results in children easily accepting any influence from their social environment. This is the initial cause of damage to children's behavior. In conclusion, besides the positive impacts of this workaholism phenomenon, such as the creation of a good work ethic and professionalism, there are also negative impacts, one of which is the possibility of ignoring the duties of the parents at home, lack of attention to their children because they are preoccupied with work matters. So it will be better if everything is done right in its portion so that we can live a good and balanced life. Okay, that's all for me. And thanks for the attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.